My name is Ashlyn, and welcome back to Medicated and Motivated. If you do not know me, if you've never seen my face or heard my voice before, my name is Ashlyn, and I am a full-time paramedic. This is my show, Medicated and Motivated, where I talk about the real and raw lifestyle of what it's like being an EMS provider, whether it's the good, the bad, or the ugly. Today, I've talked about the ugly and the bad stuff for like the past 3 episodes. Today, I'm finally here to say confidently I'm talking about something good. When I started this podcast 2 months ago, I created like a to-do list of all the episodes that I wanted to sit down and film and write scripts for. One of those episodes was a highly requested question / topic to talk about, and it was being young in the career. And every single time I sat down to put my thoughts on paper, I physically could not do it. I would start a sentence, delete it, start a sentence, delete it. And it's because none of my thoughts were coming out the way I wanted to. I feel like I have so much experience being young. I started this career at 18 years old, but I physically couldn't put my thoughts on paper and make them sound encouraging. And the reality of this is I am human. I have faltered. I have made my mistakes in this career, and I'm going to continue to make mistakes in my career until the day I retire. But after I left church this morning, we talked about one of my absolute favorite Bible verses, and you'll be familiar with it if you've seen any of my social media profiles. 1 Timothy 4:12, which if you are not religious, I will very much understand if you don't want to sit through this episode, because I do reference that verse a lot. It's don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers in speech and life and love and faith and in purity. That has been my mantra. It's been my Bible verse ever since I started going to my church when I was 12 years old. And that youth group that I went to was based off of that verse. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Today, I'm finally sitting down and filming this episode because I have been so empowered through all of the trials I've been through in the past couple months, because there's been a lot. I've kept a lot off of social media, and I want to sit down and confidently with my chest say, being young in this career is an advantage and it's not a disadvantage. Whenever I would write the scripts for this episode, everything would always come out very negative. It would always be, you're going to get judged harshly, you're going to get berated, you're going to get asked a bajillion times why you're choosing this career. You're wasting your young years to hours in this job that's just going to beat you down mentally and physically. There are so many negative points in every single script that I ever wrote for this episode. And that's another reason I just kept deleting and deleting and deleting every single draft that I had. But today, all those things are true. I will not discredit the truth behind all of that. If there is one thing I have learned being young and starting this career young is it does not matter how old you get. Sometimes you're going to be looked at as young, and everyone is constantly going to berate you, judge you, and just treat you like you're immature. Taking a break because Shadow got locked in here and he is not happy about it. As I was listening to the sermon this morning over 1 Timothy 4:12, he was asking the congregation, which the congregation is the group of people in church, do you live for others by example? If others look at you, are they looking at you like an example? And he really wasn't just talking about living Christian-like and living for God. He was asking just in general. And I've had several instances over the past 2 months that I very openly want to talk about because it humanizes me and it shows that I recognize this was not okay and I want to fix it. But it's also a great example of I'm young in this career. The amazing advantage we have in this career is we can live by example still. We are surrounded by people that have been in this job for years upon years upon years. The veterans, the old dogs, all of the people that have seen things and heard things and done things in this career that have molded them into the person they are today. The advantage that us young pups have is we can refurbish the foundation of EMS because we are malleable. Shadow, please get down. Shadow. You know, honey. Oh my goodness. He's going to burn his whiskers on that candle. I have two things that have been weighing heavily on my mind lately, two trials that I've been going through over the past few months. And I want to talk about each individually and why me being young is actually an advantage to these situations. The first one is I have had a coworker issue. This coworker is the epitome of salty EMS provider. He's been in the career for a long time, and him and I do not get along. We do not get along whatsoever. I'm a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I love running calls. I have a passion for this job. I'm very loud. I'm very outspoken about that. And I enjoy being at my job. I'm not going to work a job where I don't enjoy being there. I don't want to be lively. I don't want to portray myself as a negative provider when I'm at my job at all. I want to go to a job that I enjoy. He is the complete opposite. There are some days where he is one of those people where you question, why are you still in the job? You are very salty. Your negativity rubs off on people. Nobody wants to work with you because you are so salty about running calls, being at your job, and every single aspect of your job. None of it is good in your eyes. And this provider and I have butt heads several times, and it has gotten to the point where I have had my other coworkers point out to me that that man does not like you. He does not like you whatsoever. And he gets a rise out of annoying me. He knows that it gets under my skin and he enjoys it. And those are the types of people that drive me absolutely bonkers. And I will be very open and honest when I say this. I have fought back with him. He says something disrespectful to me. I will say something disrespectful right back. And I'm not proud of it. An incident happened literally 3 days ago when I was coming off shift. He said something to me and I turned around and I lashed out at him. I was so tired. I was so done. I was tired of just the comments non-stop happening to me. And I finally snapped. I lashed out. Did it work? No. He just fought back. It did not shut him down. And honestly, it just made me walk out, and I was so fuming when I was driving home from work, and it was a negative start to my day. I'm not proud of the situation whatsoever, but I'm human and I reacted out of emotion. I look back on that instance 2 days ago now, and I'm still not proud of it, but it happened in the past and there's nothing I can change about it except for what I can change for the future. Thinking about what my preacher said this morning, do we live by an example? Do others look at us and they're encouraged to live like the way we are? The way I acted on Sunday was not how I want to portray. But the difference between me and my coworker is this is how he's been for years. This is now his molded personality. He is firm in his foundation because of this is how he's acted for years upon years upon years. It is just concrete. I truly don't know if anything will change this man. And this is what he's known for. I have the young advantage. I have not been in this career for years upon years upon years, building up my saltiness to the point where it is a concrete statue in my demeanor, in my attitude. I have the opportunity to flip the narrative and attack him with positivity. There was a verse that he also talked about this morning, and I don't remember exactly what it is, but I do know it's a proverb, and it alluded to the tongue creates life and death, and the people who love to talk will reap the consequences. You can use your tongue for positivity. It's the strongest muscle in your body, metaphorically and physically. I want to flip my narrative because I am so young and I still have time to change how I portray to myself to people. I want to flip it and attack him with positivity. I want to attack all of these salty providers with the positivity. I don't have to lash out just because they're lashing out at me. That is an advantage to being young. That is an advantage of not being so formed to this career. I think as young providers, we have a choice, and that's what makes us so powerful. We have a choice to follow along the footsteps of these old dogs and be salty, be negative, fight back with our words, be rude to each other. That's just how it always is. Or we can be even more powerful and strong and stand against that. That's how the toxicity in the EMS culture is going to go away. If the more young providers coming up stand against all of that negativity and we stand firm in our foundation of, hey, let's support each other. Let's not fight each other and spew all of this just nasty, vile things to each other. Let's actually encourage each other. Let's stand up for each other and stand up for ourselves. That's the advantage we have. I will mention this in another episode because I don't know which one's going up first, but EMS is a culture that was built on a gravel foundation. And over the years, people have poured concrete in that gravel to try and fix it. And every time there's a crack in the foundation, because it was built on a very, very unsteady surface, they just keep pouring more concrete into it, thinking eventually it'll even itself out and fix it. Being a young provider, seeing what needs change and how we can change it by standing against all of this toxicity is how we are going to regrout all of this foundation from gravel to solid concrete. We have the power to do that. My next situation is specifically pertaining to education. And a while ago, when I did my collab with EMS 2020, we ended up talking for I don't even know how long after the episode. And Chris was telling me something that really stuck with me. He asked me about a business opportunity, and I straight up looked at him and said, I don't think I'm there yet. I am 23 years old. Yes, I have a huge platform. Yes, I know I've made a difference in people's lives. But the thing that he was asking me of, same with Gwenny, Nurse Gwenny, she presented me with something a long time ago. And I straight up looked at her and I said, I don't think I am made for this yet. I don't think I'm there in my career yet. And it was a prime example of imposter syndrome making its presence known in me. I was speaking it, I was presenting it, and I was letting imposter syndrome take me over in these two conversations. And both of them said the same thing. You are there. You have built yourself piece by piece by piece every single minute that you were in EMS. They told me that I am deserving of the opportunities that have came. Being young in this career, you don't see a lot of people my age with the things that I am doing. And I'm very proud of that. I would love to see more young providers come up. But one of the things I have struggled with a lot is I'm a 23-year-old adjunct instructor. If you don't know what that is, basically an adjunct is where you go to a EMS program and you're helping the instructors, like the main instructors, the clinical director, the EMS director. You're helping them and you mainly show up on lab days. And you're kind of just walking around and you're aiding the students. They've already learned the skill. Now you're just helping them fine-tune them. And I have been heavily involved as an EMS adjunct for 3 years now, whether it's the EMT or the paramedic programs. This year, I have particularly struggled with that a lot. I have struggled with conflicts between students, conflicts between instructors, and it all boils down to I am young. It's hard to take instruction and authority from someone that is young. And it's completely understandable. I am talking to students that are my age or younger. I am talking to students that are well over my age. And they have been in the career longer than I have. And I'm the one helping them learn new things. That's hard. And I understand that. But because of that, I have been so insecure lately, doubting every single one of my skills, every single one of my abilities, every single bit of my knowledge that I have worked countless hours to obtain and to make concrete in my brain. Being young in this career, I have been seeing as a disadvantage over the last few months because it has put me back and made imposter syndrome completely take over me. The part of being young that I have not been able to allow myself to see is I am encouraging others to be so passionate in this career at a young age. I see comments, I see the DMs, I see the follows, and I see the students that I have taught in past years, and I see myself in them. But because being young has created such a vile, green-eyed monster of imposter syndrome. I have not been able to fully grasp the change that I have made. There are going to be days where my insecurity, there are days where being young is just straight up a disadvantage in that nature. When you are older, when you have seen more, when you have done more, when you have experienced more negativity, it's a lot easier to let things brush off your shoulder, roll down your back, and just move on. My EMS director pulled me aside. We had a nice little counseling session, heart to heart, the other day, and that's exactly what she told me. She's been in the career for upwards of 10 years now. She is exactly like me. She started very young. She was looked at as this child. Nobody treated her with respect. And when she came into the EMS education business, it was hard for her. The past few classes we've had, they've been hard because not everyone is going to take a liking to you. Not everyone is going to learn from you. And there are some students that you cannot get through to. And she said, the more you do it, the easier it is said than done. And she encouraged me. She said, you know you're a good instructor. You know you are smart. You are capable. You are competent. One of the advantages that I have not been able to see, like I said, is I am encouraging to others that are at or around my age. But another thing that is pretty cool, and I got pulled aside last week and got told this, is there's a couple students that we've had that are, like I said, much older. They've been experienced in the career for years upon years. And they pulled me aside and they said, it's refreshing to see someone like you with the drive and the passion. Years upon years in the career. And I see this in comment sections all the time as well. They said, you make me wish that I was 20 again with your passion and your drive. How you speak about the career, the outlook you have on the career. But because I have let my perspective of being young as a disadvantage overpower me, I have not been able to see that. Looking back at it now, and I have this verse in my head, don't let anyone look down on you because you're young. They're not just talking about, in the Bible, they're not just talking about other people looking down on you. It's yourself as well. Don't let yourself look down on you because you're young. Don't see this as a disadvantage because, I mean, the cool thing is I ain't going to be young forever. I'm turning 24 in a couple months. It's only a year older, but it's another year that I have the opportunity to do what I do, improve myself every single day, and keep going. Keep encouraging not only others, but myself. Keep this burning fire inside of me alive, well, and strong. A fire that literally no fire department could put out. I know this video got a little bit off topic, and it's not giving you straightforward advice on what it's like being young in the career, how to handle being young in the career. But truly, the only thing that's helped me is being young is powerful because you don't have to conform to all of these nasty, negative Nancy's that are in our career. You don't have to. The cool thing about us is we have fresh outlooks. We have clean slates. Our boards are not yet filled with all of these preconceived notions. We have the opportunity to build this amazing, bright, powerful, stadium light, bright futures in this career. We have the opportunity that when all these old salty dogs retire, eventually they will. I know it may seem like it, but they're going to have to. When they retire, we are the ones coming up. We don't have to be like them. That's the best part about being young. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I have made mistakes and I'm owning up to them. Just 2 days ago, I'm not proud of my actions. I used my tongue for the worst. I used its strength for the worst. I didn't use it to bring positivity in life. But now I look back on that and I have a lesson to learn, and it's going to make my future a much brighter place. And I think that is all. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I've had a lot of trials, lots of trials in the past 2 or 3 months. The school year has been very hard. The last few life events that I've had have been very difficult. I've had a lot of change. I've had a lot of unwanted events happen in my life, but I've also had a lot of good things. I've had business meetings and collaborations and invitations to things in the future that I would have never, ever had if I would have never started experiencing all the things that I've done in EMS and started expressing all of my drive and passion online. If I would have stopped in the thousands of trials that I experienced sharing my experience on social media, then I would have never been here. I would not be here. I would not have a calendar list of events and invitations for the future. All of us are human, but the most powerful thing about being young is we are malleable. We have time to change. I'm going to leave you with that verse again, 1 Timothy 4:12. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Absolutely no one, even yourself. Be an example for the believers in speech, how you say things, in life, how you are going about your life, in your faith, how you're presenting yourself and living through your life, whether it's for God or whatever creator you believe in, and in purity. And then my youth pastor always said this: smile and have a great day. And I'm always going to say, have a good shift.